Hello and welcome to Election Night Live for the November 7th, 2017 Garden City Mayoral, Council, and Library Board election. I'm your host, Dan York. Susan McGraw is upstairs. She will be with us in just a moment. The ballots are being counted in the city clerk's office. The tapes are being delivered from the individual precincts, and that means we should have results here very shortly in a very quiet, a very unassuming Garden City Council race. Along with the mayor, the city council, and the library board, there were two proposals that were on this ballot, one a roads millage, one a renewal of the millage for the Garden City Public Schools for non-homestead properties, and we will go through that list in just a little while to talk about all of those. Again, the polls closed just over a half hour ago. They were open from 7 in the morning until 8 p.m. tonight. There are no other issues on this ballot. This was strictly a local Garden City election. That doesn't happen very often, but no other issues on this ballot except for the roads millage and for the renewal of the public schools. New voting machines this year, and obviously you're coloring in a card. It's not like the old days when you went in the booth and pulled the lever and pulled all the levers down. So it didn't look much different to the voters, but there were new machines this year that were purchased by the state of Michigan for all of the cities. So we'll see if that has any impact in either quicker results, slower results, however it works out for this election. In Garden City, there are 20,695 registered voters out of about 27,000 people. If we look at the last time there was an election in the community that was a city-only election in 2015, 3,099 people voted, 14% of the turnout approximately. In 2013, the city election before that, 3,070. I would have said before the day started that the number today would have been lower because there has been literally no buzz about this election. There's been almost no conversation about this election. But as of 6:30, the last time they did a count, there were about 100 more people that had voted. 1,845 people had voted as of 6:30, as opposed to 1,756 in the last election. So it's possible that the roads millage has brought people out to vote beyond what we normally would have for a city election. And if that is the case, that probably doesn't bode well as a result for the road millage for it passing, because more people turning up would mean that they're probably there to vote no, and results are already coming in on this election. One of the reasons for the small turnout, I believe, or not necessarily the small turnout, but the lack of attention paid to this is the demise of the Garden City Observer. There's a large percentage of our community that still wants their news from a newspaper delivered to their home. The Observer stopped functioning in Garden City sometime during the summer, so a large group of our population, they're cut off. They don't look at Facebook, no matter how much we try here at the city to put things on Facebook, on YouTube, and on the city's website, which is what we have as available to us, and through the city's cable television channel. You only reach a certain percentage of the people. So we'll have to see how that the lack of a newspaper in town has affected that. Also the change of demographics, far more renters in the community. Every year there's more renters than the year before. Single parent families and dual parent families that have multiple jobs and have to get their kids to soccer and baseball and hockey and everything else. So lots of reasons for people not to pay much attention to city government, and we'll see what the result of that was here this evening. Let's take a look now at what is on the ballot for today. Again, we mentioned that it is a mayor's race, it's a city council race, and as you see, the candidate, single candidate for mayor is Randy Walker. Now this will be Mr. Walker's 5th term on the Garden City City Council. He is the first 5-year, not the first 5-term mayor, but he will be the longest serving mayor because he will receive a 4-year term for the first time ever due to a charter change at the last election. So Randy Walker will go on and will set the record for years in office as the mayor. He will be reelected to a 4-year term. For the City Council, 2 races today. The regular race, in which the top 2 finishers receive 4-year terms, and the next 2 get 2-year terms. This is the last election that will have a 2-year term due to a charter change in the last election. After this election, not today, but in 2019, everyone will receive 4-year terms, which means in some years we'll have 3 council people up, In some years, we'll have 3 council people plus the mayor. It'll be every other year, so we'll still vote every 2 years. But the council will all receive 4-year terms. On the ballot today, Melissa DeMichael, a relative newcomer. She is a active member of the theater program here in Garden City, but new to politics. Brian Earl, a Wayne County sheriff and a member of the Garden City Youth Athletic Association, his first effort at running. Mark Jacobs, who was an incumbent, who was new to the city council, receiving a 2-year term 2 years ago. Michael Jones, who is active in the Kiwanis and a number of different places. Mike served on the city council for less than 1 year when he took over for the seat that George Cordy had when George Cordy resigned in the middle of his term. Also, Pam King, an incumbent, back on the ballot this year, along with J. Lee Lynch, who has also been a mayor, and Pat McCarge, the former Parks and Recreation Director. So the incumbents there are Pat McCarge, J. Lee Lynch, Pam King, and Mark Jacobs. There are 4 seats available, and again, we have 7 candidates for those 4 seats. Also, a special election today in which Kelly Kerwin is running unopposed. She is running to take over the seat that her father was in. Jim Kerwin passed away earlier this year, and Kelly has run for the final 2 years of her father's term, and she is the only one running for that seat. Also, we had 2 ballot proposals today. The first one was for the Garden City Public Schools. Well, let's see which one we're going to take a look at here. One of them was library board candidates. Forgot all about them. 2 seats available and 2 candidates for those 2 seats. Lynn Cox, Jan Smith, they are both currently members of the Garden City Library Board. Also, we'll take a look at those proposals now. First off, the roads millage. Basically, without having to read all of this, the premise is the city will sell $50 million in bonds to do work on the city roads. The bonds will be payable in 15-year terms, but there will be 3 bonds scattered over 5 years, which means the entire term of this proposal will result in 20 years of bond payments for the repair of Garden City roads. The expectation on the part of the city is that 75% or more of the roads in Garden City would be in fair to good condition compared to what they are right now. This obviously, I think, will be a 50-50 kind of a jump ball on this. Also then, for the Garden City Public Schools, they had a millage renewal proposal. This is for non-homestead, and what that means is not for your primary home. This is for secondary homes. This is for rental properties. This is for businesses. So these are non-homestead properties. They were looking for an 18 mil renewal for 5 years. And again, basically anybody that voted today, more than likely this did not affect them. So it was interesting that the voters are voting on a proposal that for the most part does not affect them. And I see we already have results coming in. We'll have to verify what percentage these numbers are because the numbers don't add up to what the count was earlier. So the numbers in front of me are partials, even though they appear to be numbers in every precinct category. We'll have to have our Associate Director, Kevin Kramus, verify that this is what degree that these partials are, because it appears to be partial results that we have now, and we will actually get to those too as soon as we can verify that. Susan McGraw, she's upstairs, and I imagine things are starting to hop now upstairs, Susie, as they're starting to hand out pieces of paper with counts on them.
It's amazing. This is my favorite part, when it just starts to buzz and get some numbers in, Dan. And although we don't know exactly what those numbers represent just yet, we know that the votes are being tabulated, and that's exciting. As you indicated, it is I don't want to say it's a down type of an election, because there hasn't been, from what we've seen, a lot of negativity or anything, dirty or nasty. Just a little uneventful, let's say, during the campaign process. And whether that's good or bad or indifferent, I guess we'll find out. I know that by my neck of the woods here in Garden City, not a lot of lawn signs out, not a lot of door-to-door campaigning, that type of thing that might be a part of an election, particularly for somebody that values the opportunity to run and is really pushing hard to become a city council member, for example. Haven't seen a whole bunch of that. So will it stay status quo? Will we see 2 or 3 new faces on council? We'll find out tonight. that's for sure. The library board, as you mentioned, anxious to hopefully have a chance to chat with one or two of those people running for board, and they are re-election positions because those are already board members. So love to learn about some of their ideas as it relates to building that building for the library there at the former, across the street from the former site of Berger Center in Garden City. And then again, the two proposals, as you mentioned. I interpret it maybe a little bit differently, Dan, than you do, and I'm sure I'm in the minority on this one. The idea of more voters coming out, my goal, my hope would be that it's because they're passionate, because they want to see something go through, but I think it's probably more what you're saying. They're passionate that they don't want that proposal to go through, but I suppose we'll wait and see, won't we?
Yeah, we have partial results now, and again, when we're ready to show those, we will. But right now, it's a dead heat. You know, it's 511 to 505 yes on the roads millage. So we said it would probably be an entire jump ball, and it looks like it is so far. If there's, you know, it looks like we have 808 people have voted so far, or maybe a little bit less. But again, if we had a count of 1,845 people having voted at 6:30, I'm guessing, like I said, these are partial ballots we're looking at here right now, and we'll have to wait. And we'll have to wait and see how this count goes. But from the beginning, this was a rather ambitious project for the city to try to go after a $50 million roads millage. It's going to be an ambitious project to do if it does pass.
Yeah.
That's going to be a lot of work for the city to do in a very short period of time. So it will be interesting to see if it passes. And I had said earlier in the day, for every person that I could find that was going to vote for it, I could find a person that was going to vote against it. So
Right.
it really does look like it's an even heat as we go into the count now.
Yeah, and I think the idea of sort of being passionate does lend, whichever side you're on, lends to the increased turnout. If you live in a certain part of the town that you are dealing with really bad roads on a daily basis, I think you're going to motivate your friends and neighbors to get out there and do something about it. And if you maybe are okay with the condition in your, little block or 2-block area, then you're like, oh, really? Do I need to spend more money? It's okay. Everything's fine. So I agree. It's going to go one way or the other, and probably in a very tight way. But I also think that the amount of time that's available to spend that money, should it go forward, it's going to be tough. I mean, it's going to be a pivotal thing to happen, a huge project, and well, we'll see what happens.
All right, thank you very much, Susie. Obviously, you'll be grabbing people there tonight and kind of getting the pulse of what's going on upstairs, and good luck with that.
Thank you. Can't wait.
All right, and again, we do have partial results in, and apparently we have 2 precincts and the absentee ballots voted, so we will take a look at that. I will tell you, though, right now, just taking a quick look at what we have, the absentees alone, that 511 to 505 number that we have is the absentee. So amongst the absentee voters, who very often will carry an election, the senior tower, the folks that go to the Maplewood Community Center, they vote absentee. We have a lot of seniors in our community. And so it looks to me like they have approved it by the narrowest of margins. That is 6 votes, 511 to 505. And just looking at other things, like I said, we'll wait for graphics to be created for this stuff. But at first glance, it appears that the incumbents are holding serve, and at first, with only 2 precincts and the absentees in, it looks like the folks that are in office now, if things were to hold the way they are now, but it's very, very early. It's the incumbents right now that are keeping themselves in the lead in this race, but again, it is very, very early. Don't forget, this council, whether it be the same people or all new people, will be sworn in next Monday. Now, that does come with a caveat. In the event that the Wayne County Board of Canvassers has not completed the count, then the city will have to delay that. But the swearing-in ceremony, and since this has gone to the county for the last 2 elections, it's not been a problem, but the swearing-in ceremony will be on Monday, November 13th at 7 o'clock right here in Garden City City Hall. Of course, you're invited to come and watch it yourself or watch it live right here on GCTV. And we welcome those of you watching us on Facebook tonight. You can also watch this swearing in on Facebook, as most of our live programs are done now. streaming to Facebook. So again, next Monday, everything staying equal, the candidates will be sworn in, or the new council will be sworn in at that swearing-in ceremony next week. Again, it was really hard to tell because, as Susie said, there was just no buzz on this election. There were hardly any lawn signs. DeMichael, who was a new candidate to all of this, she seemed to have the most lawn signs, but the incumbents didn't do much. Kelly Kerwin didn't need to do anything. Randy Walker didn't need to do anything. They had a walk already in, but beyond that, it was interesting. I've never seen so little buzz on an election, and things have happened in this community in the last couple of years. Obviously, in the last 18 months, even though, and this is something to explain quickly, even though the tax base is stable and the city has been able to stabilize itself since the recession, depression of the 2008, 2009, 2010 era, the city has stabilized itself. But residents have seen commercial businesses leave, and in groves. And they have left for a variety of reasons. Most of them are not to do with the city. Kmart Corporation closing the Kmart on Ford Road. Kmart and Sears are going out of business, so this would have happened now or would happen a year or 2 or 3 or 4 years from now. Kroger, when Kroger bought the Farmer Jack Corporation, that was really the end of Garden City's Kroger, even though it took a while from that. With a Kroger located on Middle Belt and Warren, that was a Farmer Jack, with a Farmer Jack in the Heights in Dearborn Heights that was changed into a Kroger, and then the Farmer Jack that was changed into a Kroger at Merriman and Cherry Hill. So Garden City, they had it stacked against them from the beginning on this Garden City Kroger, and with some other businesses leaving the community and some development projects that haven't come to be. The McDonald's project on Ford and Middle Belt, it's moving along, but all people see is that the development hasn't happened. Dunkin' Donuts is supposed to build next to the KFC on Ford Road in Harrison. But again, all you see is a vacant piece of property and no activity going there. So the optics are bad in the community, but it is a stable community. The property values are stable, and the people that live in the community are stable. And the people in Garden City are what make Garden City what it is, and those are the people that came out and voted here today, I guess. And you know, it's funny because this was probably the first election, too. We talk about social media, where people were making their comments known on social media, where there's several Facebook pages where people post their comments and their information as to what they think. And it was interesting to see what people had to say. I don't know if it'll have any impact on what the results of this election are, but it was very interesting to hear what people had to say. Again, right now we have 2 precincts that are reporting. They are Precinct 1 and Precinct 8, along with the absentee ballots. And just to let you know, Precinct 1 is Farmington School, approximately, and Precinct 8 would be Henry Ruff School. So those are the 2 precincts that have reported, and we have our absentees that have also been reported in, and again, we're guessing about 808 people on the absentee ballots. So let's take a look now at the numbers. As you can see, Mayor Randy Walker, after you've had your 2 precincts only and your absentee precincts at 1,174 votes again, Mayor Walker running unopposed, so he obviously will get that first 4-year term ever for a Garden City mayor. On the council side, let's take a look. And they are in numerical order. So you see the 4 incumbents, J. Lee Lynch, Mark Jacobs, Pat McCarge, and Pam King, right now holding serve with Brian Earl next in line at 640, Melissa DeMichael next in line at 608, and Mike Jones with 482. So really way too early to make any determinations there. We have at least 9 more precincts, or at least 7 more precincts that need to report. So I'm sure these numbers will change significantly as the night goes on. Let's take a look at the Kelly Kerwin election, again, which she is running by herself, 1,126 votes. So right now, she has the second most votes of anybody running, next to Randy Walker. But again, both of these candidates running unopposed. Taking a look at the library board race, again, these numbers also academic, Lynn Cox and Jan Smith, both running unopposed for the library board position, so they obviously will find their seat. Taking a look at the at the 2 millage proposals now, or the 2 ballot proposals, again, very, very preliminary. The bonded road millage leading 766 to 740. Again, very preliminary. The school board millage, I'm sure Derek Fisher and our friends over at the Garden City Public Schools will be happy to know that is winning in a landslide, 1,018 to 479, 118 or 1018 to 479. But again, that's kind of a no-brainer because mostly for the people who are the taxpayers in this community, that vote, that renewal really has no impact on the taxpayers in our community. All right, and Susan McGraw is upstairs now. She's with Kim Dold. She is the director of the Garden City Downtown Development Authority, as well as a representative of the Goodfellows.
Yes, thank you, Dan. Kim, as treasurer of the Goodfellows, representing that organization as well as, of course, the DDA. We're very excited to have you here on election night. To me, this is the fun time to be at City Hall because of all the excitement and so on. Are you feeling like it's fun right now?
It's a little exciting, yeah. Just find out what's going to happen tonight. It always is, and I'm sure, especially for the candidates. So.
Well, we, first of all, thank you for your service to our community. There's so much going on, and you tend to be intertwined in some way, shape, or form to the good stuff going on. So we're happy about that and grateful that you are here. Absolutely. When it comes to the Goodfellows, first of all, we've got the holiday season so fast approaching. Oh, my goodness. What's the mindset with the organization, and what are you gearing up for?
Well, we're on track. We just completed interviews with about 70 families Sunday morning. We've got more interviews coming up on the 15th. So I expect that it's going to be about the same as it has been the last couple years. We'll see about 300 of our children in the community needing some assistance to, have something under that tree Christmas morning. So once we get those interviews completed, what we do is we'll get gift cards. And in the past, we've gotten gift cards from Kmart and Kroger because they were our local businesses. So this year we're going to go local with Michigan, and we'll be getting Meijer gift cards for our families. So those will get distributed to all of the families that are approved, and we ask them to do their own shopping. They know their kids best. They know what the kids need, and it also gives the parents the joy of being able to do for themselves for their children. So, but we've got about 10 people on the committee. That's probably the largest it's been in a couple of years. We welcome people if they want to join. They can get a hold of me at the DDA at 734-261-2830, and I'll let them know when our meetings are and welcome anybody that's interested in helping out.
If someone isn't necessarily able to commit to the time of becoming a member of the organization, of the Goodfellows, how can they support financially? Number of ways, I'm sure.
Absolutely. We do a mail-in donation letter to the residents of Garden City, which is, they're always very generous in sending money in for that. We do our newspaper street solicitation over Thanksgiving holiday. They can help by volunteering to do that. Either we're looking at a couple stores, possibly Ace Hardware, and along with being out on the street corners. That is our largest fundraiser, and they can they can donate money, they can donate time. They absolutely do not have to join the committee to help us.
You'll take it. When it comes to funds being raised, comparison to families in need, has the proportion been going up equally? I mean, are you seeing so many more people needing the support and not enough funds, or are the funds managing to cover the number of people that you're helping?
They actually, we're running pretty even every year. If we see that we may not have enough starting money for the next year, we might throw another little fundraiser in there or something to get us there. We recently did the afterburn after the chili cook-off. We had 5 bands that donated their time and came in and played, and that was very successful for us, and I think the community really enjoyed it too. So it was fun. It was a fun fundraiser, so we'll be doing that again next year.
Well, we thank you for your support. We thank you for your time today, and I hope you'll stick around for more of the excitement here, right?
Yeah, I'm going to stick around and see what's happening here and talk to a few people.
Good to see you, Kim. Thank you. All righty. We've got some results coming in. I know I can hear the hustle and bustle back there. Dan, what have you got for us?
Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to have some results in just a moment. We are up to 1,280 voters in. We are short 4 precincts of a full lid. So what we're going to do is take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have more on Election Night Live. We'll have more results. We'll have interviews. Kelly Kerwin, who is the candidate for her father's seat, to finish that up. She'll be with us. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Garden City Civic Arena is located at Garden City Park at the corner of Cherry Hill and Merriman. The Civic Arena offers programs for people of all ages and abilities. Kids and adults can learn to skate or play hockey through programs offered by the Garden City Figure Skating Club and Garden City Hockey Association. Glow skating on Saturday night is a great way to spend a fun evening with family and friends. The arena offers a wide assortment of skate rental, and the snack bar is available during all hours of operation and has all your favorites. The arena is home to the Garden City Men's Over 30 Hockey Association and also runs a Sunday men's league for adults 19 and up. The Garden City Figure Skating Club offers private lessons for boys and girls of all ages. Drop-in hockey, sticks and pucks, and open skating are offered weekly at the arena. The rink has a party room available for birthdays and special meetings. Call 734-793-1882 to book the room. For more information, visit gcicearena.com.
Happy holidays, season's greetings, and Merry Christmas, and welcome to the Garden City Downtown Development Authority Santa Land Parade.
All right, don't hold back now. Give me all you got. Oh.
Maybe baseball is your game.
Hey, pal, put it in right here.
You were always there for me.
How about golf?
Okay, choke down a little bit. Straight.
Always to succeed. Wanna thank you for that time, and I'm proud to say you're mine. You showed me everything that I should know. You showed me just how to walk without your hands. 'Cause Mom, you always were the perfect fan.
Appreciation. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
Even if they slip, we're here to catch them.
Welcome back to Election Night Live. I'm Dan York, Susan McGraw upstairs as you're looking at the hallway outside of the clerk's office at Garden City City Hall as results are beginning to come in, and we are back in the studio, and I guess we're going to take a look now at our most recent results that include precincts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, and the absentees. So let's take a look because there's been a couple of changes. As you see, Randy Walker running unopposed, as we said earlier, 1,724 votes. And then looking at the council race, it appears to be the incumbent still, J. Lee Lynch, with 1,184 votes right now, would get a 4-year term if things hold up this way. Mark Jacobs, in his second attempt at election, he was elected to a 2-year term in the last election with 1,159, so Mark would get a 4-year seat also. And he is ahead of Pat McCarge, former Parks and Recreation Director, with 1,077, and Pam King with 1,006. So right now your 4 incumbents would be your city council again. Brian Earl, let's see, 1,005. Wow, Brian Earl 1 vote behind Pam King right now with 4 precincts yet to report. Melissa DeMichael, the newcomer with 946, and Mike Jones, a former council person, with 737. Again, quickly taking a look at Kelly Kerwin's numbers, 1,684. She is the second highest vote getter today behind the mayor. And looking at the library board, Lynn Cox and Jan Smith, again running unopposed in that election, so 1564 for our top candidate there, Ms. Cox. And then also the bonded roads millage now. This is flipped. The noes are leading now, 1,203 to 1,068. That is with 4 precincts to go. You know, I'll be honest with you, when I saw that the absentees had voted for the road millage, I figured that was an indication of how it might go, but we'll have to see how the rest of these precincts come in. And taking a look at the Garden City Public Schools renewal of 18 mills for non-homestead, 1510 to 753, so that is going to win easily. As we come back to studio now, Kelly Kerwin is with us, a longtime friend of mine, someone that's been around this community since she was a kid, for her whole life. And the daughter of Jim Kerwin, and you took this opportunity to run, to finish the 2 years your dad had in his term. Why'd you decide to do that?
I volunteered in the city anyway, and I thought it was a good time to step up, and I've got some big shoes to fill.
Well, and it's not like you haven't been active in other things and a lot of the same things your dad was active in.
Right, and I've worked for the city as well, and so I'm familiar.
Yeah. And I can tell you just hate doing this
I
live
do.
speaking. What do you want to accomplish? What are some of the things you look at and think, well, I think I can have an impact there, or I'd like to see this changed?
I think everybody's concerned with the businesses as well as the roads.
Yeah.
To be quite honest, I'm going to have to get in there and just jump into the mix and find out where I can be needed or the things that I can do. I don't really know at this point.
Sure.
But once I'm on and I start talking to people and to the right people, I can figure that out.
Tell us a little bit about yourself that I haven't already said. I mean, obviously, so you've lived here your entire life, I assume, right?
Except for 2 years.
Okay.
I graduated from Garden City High School. I worked for the 21st District Court here in Garden City. I have a background in law enforcement. I run my own business doing criminal background checks. I volunteer with the schools a lot. I've been through the schools since my daughter entered kindergarten, so I've been in the school almost every day since then, except for now she's older, so I'm not needed as much. But I've jumped on the board that my dad was on with the high school with the Champions.
Mm-hmm. The golf tournament.
The Champions Committee, which is excellent program.
Well, and again, a lot of the stuff your dad was in.
Yeah.
Some of it different, and with a little bit of knowledge of law enforcement, having and worked in the court as a cop, and with the job that you have right now.
Yes.
Garden City, one of those communities that's been fortunate in that area. I mean,
Yes.
we don't have a real crime problem. We don't have. I'm sure things are not getting better because the whole world is changing, but Garden City itself has always been a very safe place to live.
I think it's more glorified on Facebook, and people get hyped up about the crime happening, but I don't think it's really as bad as what it seems like on Facebook when you're doing that way.
Well, one of the things I've talked about here tonight with the Observer not serving the community anymore is that people are getting news from Facebook for good or for bad.
Right, it's not always accurate.
It's not really journalism.
Right.
And so a lot of the stuff that ends up on Facebook is rumors that kind of take on a life of their own.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's one of the few ways we have to get out to people to give them information.
That's true. But I encourage people to not just go on to Facebook. Call your council members, call city officials, and figure out what the correct answer is. I mean, it's good to go on there to kind of see what people are thinking as well, but I would go to the correct source if you want the right information.
All right, well, I want to congratulate you. Is there anybody you want to thank? Because obviously you got a lot of votes tonight. Even though we're not Dunn County, you're second in line votes-wise.
That was surprising to me. I appreciate everybody who voted. I thank my mom, my friends, my daughter, everyone. I'm just excited to jump into the mix here.
All right. Well, we wish you the best of luck, and if everything goes well, you'll be sworn in on Monday.
I know.
There's no turning back now.
No, there's not.
Well, again, congratulations, and I'm sure you will serve your father's memory well.
I hope so.
All right. Susan McGraw is upstairs now. She was with Pat Squires, who did not have to run in this election. She is in the middle of a 4-year term, and she has 2 years to serve. So, Susie, what does Pat have to say?
Well, we are going to find out what Pat has to say. I told her she has the night off tonight, but she still decided to come down, and we're grateful for that, certainly. Pat, so you are the only council member that didn't have to, if they wanted to, run again. You're 2 years through your 4-year term, and Mayor Pro Tem for the past 2 years. So that part is going away, but you're going to serve for 2 more years. How's this feel, not having to be a part of that hustle and bustle?
Oh, it felt great. It felt absolutely great. Not to worry about putting my signs out and running around, but I just, it's still exciting to watch the race. Still exciting. I'm glad we had new people putting their names in the hat, and hopefully so happy that Kelly Kerwin decided to fill her dad's spot.
It's heartwarming, isn't it? The past 2 years, your experience as a council member and Mayor Pro Tem in Garden City, what's it been like? What are some adjectives to describe maybe the ups and the downs? What's the experience been for you?
Well, it's awesome, really. It's awesome. It's just an honor to be able to serve the citizens of Garden City. It is, the downfall is when the mayor calls at 4 o'clock and says, I can't make the meeting tonight, you're on. But other than that, it's all positive. It's all positive. You know, we're trying our best to try and do what we can for the city. And although not everybody understands, it's a tough job and it's a slow process, but we will get there.
Has there been one thing that's been particularly shocking or surprising or something you weren't expecting that came along with the job, aside from the mayor calling at 4 o'clock kind of a thing? Anything else that you've learned through the process that it was like, I really never knew that I was going to have to deal with that or that was going to be an issue?
Well, the main shock was losing Mr. Kerwin, of course. And I wasn't sure exactly how we were going to go on, you know, and somehow we did. No, just I'm worried about the businesses that are moving out. That's quite shocking with Kroger and Kmart. We have to really work on that, see what we can do.
Pat, when it comes to moving forward, the next 2 years are going to present themselves as the numbers are showing us right now, perhaps probably with some familiar faces and maybe a new person out there. When it comes to moving ahead, any advice for whoever the makeup of the council is going to be?
Well, we just have to continue to work together no matter who is on the council. If we can work together, that way we can succeed and get things done.
That's good advice. Thank you for your continued service and good luck for the next 2 years.
Thank you, Susie.
Thank you very much, Pat. All right. Well, there you go. Pat Squires, that's what she's thinking about is moving ahead. And as she indicated, she feels honored to be a member of City Council and to serve her community, our community. And that's a pretty noble feeling, certainly.
Yeah, very good. And again, Pat, very involved in this community. She's a member of the Garden City Santaland Parade Committee with me, and someone that's so involved in so many charities and so many activities, and really a genuine nice person.
Yeah, she's just a wonderful lady. To me, she embodies all the great things about this community, in fact, about this city. She's kind of like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be Pat Squires. Really.
And I believe, I'm trying to find my notes here, but I believe she's in her second 4-year term. So the 2 times she's run, she's been elected to 4-year terms both times.
Yeah.
So obviously very popular here in the community.
Yeah, I was going to actually ask her, I didn't want to put her on the spot, but I was going to ask her if she was going to run again, you know, in 2 years.
Right.
Because she did mention before we went on that after this next 2 years, everybody gets the 4-year terms, which is, of course, nice and a good feeling that you've secured 4 years to keep working and not worrying about re-election. But I didn't want to put her on the spot. But boy, I'll tell you, if I had to surmise based on what she was saying, I'd like to think that we're going to see her on the ballot in 2 years.
Okay. All right, Susie, get us some more results.
Okay, we'll do.
All right. Susan McGraw upstairs here at Garden City City Hall as Election Night Live continues. Let's recap the numbers that we have. Again, we are missing 4 precincts so far. Matter of fact, Brian Earl just came down here and showed us a post from Channel 4 that is showing more numbers than what we are. I'm not quite sure how they would have gotten that. I'm not sure if that's accurate or not, but these are the numbers that we've been given by the Garden City City Clerk's office, so we will present them as is. As we have said, 1,724 votes for Mayor Randy Walker. Again, Mayor Walker running unopposed in this election, and he will receive his 5th seat as the mayor, his 5th term as the mayor. Mayor Walker starting as a member of the Garden City City Council in 2007, receiving a 4-year term, but then running for mayor in the middle in 2009, so abandoning that term to become mayor. And he'll be our first 4-year mayor in Garden City. The council race, very close for that last spot, but right now, J. Lee Lynch, former mayor and incumbent, young lady that works at the Tipton Academy here in Garden City with 1,184 votes. Mark Jacobs, the other incumbent, with 1,159 votes. Again, Mark elected to a 2-year term back in 2015. Pat McCarge, former Parks and Recreation Director, with 1,077, and Pam King with 1,006 votes. And as you see, only 1 vote behind Brian Earl with 1,005. Melissa DeMichael, the newcomer to politics, with 946, and Mike Jones, member of the Kiwanis, hot dog vendor at Comerica Park, with 737 votes. Again, Mike served on the Garden City City Council back in 2013. And Kelly Kerwin, who we had here just a little while, 1,680 votes at last count. That number will go up. The library board, again, are 2 incumbents, Lynn Cox and Jan Smith, both no trouble there. They're running unopposed and both with fairly good numbers. And again, looking at those ballot proposals, we had a flip here. The bonded roads millage trailing now, 1,203 to 1,068. 1203 to 1068, and then looking at the renewal for the Garden City Public Schools, that is winning easily 1510 to 753. So we're just waiting for more results as everyone is upstairs here at Garden City City Hall. We talked about new voting machines that the city has, and again, you're coloring in a piece of paper now, so those aren't machines, but the tabulators that do the counting and the way they are stored, that is new. That came from the state, part of a federal Help America Vote grant that the state and the county received. So those are the new machines that are doing the counting right now. Again, they bring tapes over from the individual precincts that are mostly at elementary schools, and they bring that to City Hall to get the count. Again, we talked about the fact that the absentee ballots, which normally run this election, 1,167 absentee ballots put out, 915 absentee ballots returned, and that was as of Saturday. They had a community shred day here at Garden City City Hall. City Hall was open for people to turn in their absentee ballots and to do other election business that day. So people had an opportunity to turn that in. That was the last count we had, was 915, and that count, I'm sure, went up during the day today. So really, we're just waiting here at Garden City City Hall. We're hoping for more information. We're hoping to speak with the candidates, but we don't want to talk to them until we know the actual results of the race. So we will wait on that a little while. Kim Dole talking to Susan McGraw upstairs about the fact that the holidays are right on top of us, and obviously, if you follow GCTV, if you follow the city, you know we talk a lot about the Santaland Parade, and the Garden City Downtown Development Authority Santaland Parade is coming up. Boy, it is right around the corner now. Saturday, November 25th at 10 a.m. The parade starts at Garden City High School. It goes south on Middle Belt. It turns east on Ford Road, and it ends up on Central. The Garden City Town Center is where the Downtown Development Authority will have their post-parade event. New this year, we'll have 2 different performing areas. One of those areas is always in front of City Hall, where GCTV covers the parade, and of course you can watch it live right here on GCTV, watch it live on Facebook, but we would much rather you come out and watch it yourself. But also there'll be a second performance area that will be right in front of the Garden City Downtown Development Authority office on Ford Road. So if you're looking for a place to see the band stop and the lawnmower guys stop and some of the other performing groups stop and perform, that's the second place to be able to watch that from. So you'll be able to do that on the day of the parade, which is Saturday, November 25th at 10 a.m. For more information, go to santalandparade.com, santalandparade.com. So again, we're at City Hall. It is Election Night Live for the November 7th, 2017 Garden City Mayoral, Council, and Library Board election, along with our millage proposals. As you see, plenty of people still hanging around City Hall upstairs waiting for those final results. They're not the only ones. Some of those folks, I'm judging by the fact that they're holding checks in their hands, are the election workers. And what people probably don't know, that almost all of the election workers that work today work the entire day. There are lots of younger kids, high school kids, and some other folks that work the election all day long. And that's how Allison Bettis, our city clerk treasurer, is able to run this election. She is in charge of making sure how these elections are run and tabulating the results and everything that goes along with that. She has been the city clerk treasurer here for quite some time, following Ron Showalter, who was the city clerk treasurer for quite some time. So we thank everybody who takes their time. They don't get paid very much to work the elections here in Garden City. We want to thank everybody who works on this broadcast, because it is a very involved process, just like the parade is, doing a live television show. And we want to thank everybody, most of them volunteers here this evening. Our producer and director for tonight is Christian Gibbons, who is the Assistant Communications Director. Our associate producers tonight, Jason Merrill and Zach King. Our stage manager, Kevin Kramus, who is, Kevin and I have known each other for 35 years now, and he just got done running the Detroit Marathon. So we thank Kevin for all of his efforts. Running our robotic cameras here in the studio is Zach Witt. Running our graphics tonight is Noah Piggott. And Jeremy Jenkins is our audio guy tonight. And upstairs, our production assistant is Brendan George. So our thanks to all of those volunteers who have made this broadcast possible. And as we are now approaching 9:20, we certainly hope that we get some results here soon so we can kind of start to do the interviews with our council people and with the mayor of Garden City, Randy Walker. But again, without totals here, there's no real need to move forward until we can get some information. Again, we're just waiting for the clerk's office to deliver these numbers. And again, it's a new system, so we can't really speak to how, what might be holding this up, if anything's really holding it up. Maybe it's just the time it takes to do it, and it is what it is, and we'll have the results when we have them. So what we're going to do, we're going to take another quick break, and when we come back from this, we hope to have more information for you. You are watching Election Night live from Garden City City Hall. We'll be back in a moment.
Don't believe me, just watch.
Garden City Civic Arena is located at Garden City Park at the corner of Cherry Hill and Merriman. The Civic Arena offers programs for people of all ages and abilities. Kids and adults can learn to skate or play hockey through programs offered by the Garden City Figure Skating Club and Garden City Hockey Association. Glow skating on Saturday night is a great way to spend a fun evening with family and friends. The arena offers a wide assortment of skate rental, and the snack bar is available during all hours of operation and has all your favorites. The arena is home to the Garden City Men's Over 30 Hockey Association and also runs a Sunday men's league for adults 19 and up. The Garden City Figure Skating Club offers private lessons for boys and girls of all ages. Drop-in hockey, sticks and pucks, and open skating are offered weekly at the arena. The rink has a party room available for birthdays and special meetings. Call 734-793-1882 to book the room. For more information, visit gcicearena.com.
All right, don't hold back now. Give me all you got. Oh.
Maybe baseball is your game.
Hey, pal. Run it in right here.
You were always there for me.
How about golf?
Okay, choke down a little bit. Straight.
Always to succeed. Wanna thank you for that time, and I'm proud to say you're mine. You showed me everything that I should know. You showed me just how to walk without your hands. 'Cause Mom, you always were the perfect fan.
Appreciation. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
Welcome back to Election Night Live here at Garden City City Hall. I am Dan York along with Susan McGraw as we are waiting for final numbers for this 2017 Garden City Mayoral Council and Library Board election. And I will yell across the table to Kevin Kramus. Do we have all of the precincts in?
Yes, we do.
All right, so we are waiting for numbers that should be here shortly, but all of the precincts reporting, which is 10 precincts, and the absentee precinct. So as soon as we get numbers delivered into my hand, I think we're building the graphics for this right now. As soon as we get numbers delivered into my hand, we will go with them. And as I speak, that is what is happening. So we will do this on the fly without the graphics. It looks to be that with 1,563 votes, Mark Jacobs is the #1 vote getter in this election, edging out J. Lee Lynch with 1,535. Next in that line is Brian Earl with 1,405. I want to take my time with this one. Nope, that's why I didn't want to do it that way. So we will take a second here to look at these. All right, let's run that again. The top vote getter is Jacobs with 1,563, and then Lynch with 1,535. And then Earl with 1,405, and McCards with 1,394, I believe, is the order there. So our next guest, Brian Earl, is more than likely made it to the Garden City City Council. Again, I just want to, I'm doing this on the fly. King with 1,299 and DeMichael with 1,287 and Jones with 992. So it looks like there will be one new member on the Garden City City Council. Randy Walker with 2,306 votes. Kelly Kerwin 2,261. And then our roads millage appears to have failed 1,558 to 1,507. So just as we guessed, it was almost a 50-50 split. 1,558 to 1,507, and the school millage proposal 2063 to 992, it passes. So Brian Earl in studio with us now, and if these numbers are all accurate and incorrect, because it says unofficial, but this appears to be all the precincts counted, you've made it to the Garden City City Council.
That's incredible.
So what drew you into this?
I've been interested in politics for a long time because of my work. I do a lot of work up in Lansing. For the last 9-10 years, I've dealt with political situations and politicians and politics, and have had to lobby and testify up at committee hearings and Senate hearings. So I've been interested for quite a while, and I've kind of used it as a training ground. Before I got involved or tried to get involved in politics, I wanted to learn the way to do things, and so I use it as a way to learn, and it was kind of my college on the road.
Sure. And how does this affect your job as a Wayne County Sheriff's Deputy?
It doesn't. It's a part-time job. Obviously won't be doing it while I'm working. So, you know, I'll be able to use my knowledge that I've gained as a police officer, and and sitting on the board of the Michigan Commission on Law Enforcement Standards to try to help improve our public safety. And I'm involved with the GCYA, so I want to try to increase our youth programs. So those are a couple of my main goals.
And it does give you somewhat of an insight, I guess, into law enforcement.
Yes.
That could be handy.
Yes, absolutely. Can never have too much protection. Police and fire, I think, are two of the absolute most vital aspects of any community. So anything I can do to try to improve that is my goal.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about yourself, other than being a Wayne County Sheriff and the things you've served at, but tell us what brought you to Garden City and a little bit about your background.
Well, I'm 50 years old. I'm married. I have 3 kids. They all go to Garden City Public Schools. I have one in Douglas, one in Farmington, and one in the middle school. My parents actually bought their first house in Garden City and then moved to Livonia before I was born. They lived on Lather Street. And when myself and my wife were getting married, we looked around and really wanted to live in Garden City. We love the community. We've lived here for 17 years. It's a great community. I was just talking to somebody at the polls tonight. Driving through the neighborhoods and walking through the neighborhoods and talking to people, you don't realize what a unique community it is. The houses, there's no cookie cutter houses really. Everything's different and they're all unique, and I love that about the city.
The roads millage appears to have failed.
Yes.
Your thoughts on that as a resident and now a council person?
Well, I kind of had I had a lot of mixed reviews as I was talking to people. We do need to address the roads. I don't know if we actually educated enough people the right way. I wasn't really involved too much in that. But it's something that has to be a priority. The street I live on, it's like driving down the surface of the moon when you go down the road. And you watch the city buses, there's the school buses, and these poor kids are bouncing around like a bunch of bobbleheads. So it's something that's going to have to be addressed, and obviously we're going to have to look at a different way to do it.
Anybody you want to thank?
Everybody that voted for me, everybody that supported me, everybody that came out and voted. I was at the polls pretty much open to close, walking around different precincts, talking to people. A little disappointed with the low turnout, especially with a major millage on the board. But I appreciate everybody that came out and voted, everybody that helped out, and I'm just excited to get started.
All right. Well, good luck to you, and welcome to the Garden City City Council. And again, if everything goes the way it's supposed to, you'll be sworn in on Monday.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Brian Earl, the newest member of the Garden City Council. We do have now total results to take a look at, and let's do that. And I believe we had the analysis right as far as the order of the votes. So you see Randy Walker with 2,306. So Randy Walker, with obviously running unopposed with 2,306 votes. Kelly Kerwin with 2,261 votes, also running unopposed. Let's take a look now at the Garden City City Council. If these numbers hold, and they do have to be certified by the Wayne County Board of Canvassers, Mark Jacobs is your new mayor pro tem with 1,563 votes in his second time ever running for office. He won a 2-year term in 2015. Jay Lee Lynch with 1,535 votes. She'll also receive a 4-year term, and just shortly into her term, she will set the record for longest serving person on the Garden City City Council, either as a mayor or as a council person. Brian Earl, who we just had through here with 1,405 votes, he receives a 2-year term. Pat McCarge returns to the City Council. She's an incumbent with 1,394. She edges out Pam King, also an incumbent with 1,299 votes. Our next guest, Melissa DeMichael, her first time ever running for office with 1,287, and Mike Jones with 992 votes. And as we said, Kelly Kerwin's count coming in at 2,261 on the evening. Our 2 library board people running unopposed will keep their seats, and they will be 6-year seats on the Garden City Library Board, which was set up when the millage was passed for the Garden City Library several years ago, an autonomous group that is under the umbrella of the city. And there you see the roads millage. It fails 1558 to 1507, a close vote for the roads millage, only 51 vote difference. And the Garden City Public Schools renewal winning easily 2,063 to 992. So with us now is Melissa DeMichael. And first of all, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And not a bad showing at all for a first-time candidate.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. It was a great experience. Really great help from some of the past incumbents. Specifically, I'd like to thank Randy Walker for kind of guiding me and helping me along. And my husband was a great help, and my mom and dad were also tremendous, tremendous supporters. So.
Now, you are very much involved in the theater program. As a matter of fact, you had to come from the rehearsals for their program that is this Saturday, or this weekend, right?
Yes, we open Spelling Bee. I do costume, the Garden City Theater program, myself and a few others. And we open Thursday night at 7 p.m. and we're running Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 7 p.m., Sunday at 2. And it's a show about a 6th grade spelling bee. It's called the 25th Putnam Annual County Spelling Bee. And we will be taking 4 audience members when you come in to sign up to actually bring on stage. So it's an interactive musical,
okay,
and they'll get to be part of the spelling bee. So yes, I came straight from rehearsal. I was costuming, had to get some kids to come in there and take over some things and doing hair and makeup. So came straight from there to here and love to do that as a side volunteer.
And there's been quite a resurgence in not only the high school's theater program, but now the community theater program that was dormant for a while.
Yes, Director Greg Wiklansky has actually brought that forth with the Bennett family, Mr. Bennett, Alan, and his wife, Laura. They are just amazing people and have really put forth this great program with the music director. We have Kim Nagy. And it started 2 summers ago when we did Fiddler on the Roof, and my father, Tim, actually wanted to do the show and got me involved, and then we did the Drowsy Chaperone this past summer, and we'll have another summer program this year, and that's open to all residents, alumni, and current high school students. So come on out and audition, and we'd love to have you.
Now, you were the youngest person to run for Garden City Council in quite a while. There doesn't seem to be a lot of interest amongst folks that are under 50, under 45,
sure,
to run for the city council. Why do you think that is?
I really don't know why younger people don't get involved in the city politics as much as the older residents do. I would think a lot of it probably has to do with timing and raising families, and it's just a lot. You've got to work, you've got your families to take care of, but for me it's really important to make sure that we have a strong governed body of government within the city. And so I took the time out and I wanted to give it a go and see if I could get elected, and I know I can make a difference on council, and we can try again in a couple of years and see what happens.
Oh, it's my next question, if you'd think about doing this again.
Yep, it's always a possibility. So
right. Anybody you want to thank?
Yes, absolutely. I'd love to thank my husband, my mother and father, Tim and Rose Marabiter, my mother and father-in-law, Marina and Joe, they're great, my sister-in-law, the theater department at the Garden City High School, they have just been amazing. So thank you all for coming and supporting me, and all my entire family has just been amazing. I've been getting texts and phone calls all night. Hey, how you doing? What's the update? So, and of course, Randy Walker, thank you for kind of taking me under your wing and giving me that opportunity to kind of guide me along. So I really appreciate everybody's support.
Well, I'd say congratulations on a pretty good showing for a newcomer, and we wish you and good luck this weekend with the play.
Thank
with
you.
The musical.
Yep, everybody should come out and come see it.
All right, very good.
Thank
Melissa DeMichael, candidate for Garden City City Council, who did not make the cut here tonight, but as she said, maybe she'll be around again next time for the election in 2019. So once again, let's take a look at the results. They are now unofficial, but they are complete. And it shows Randy Walker with 2,306 votes. Again, Mayor Walker running unopposed. And then our council with one new council member on it. Our mayor pro tem is Mark Jacobs. He's an incumbent, but he had a 2-year term his first time around, and now he'll receive a 4-year term on the Garden City City Council. Jaylee Lynch will serve also a 4-year term on the City Council, and Brian Earl, the newcomer who we've already spoken to, with 1,405 votes, and Pat McCarge, who we'll be speaking with here in just a couple of moments. She's an incumbent that keeps her seat with 1,394 votes. And Pam King, she's the only incumbent that loses her seat tonight, 1,299. Melissa DeMichael, who we just spoke with 1287, and Mike Jones with 992 votes. And again, Kelly Kerwin with 2,261 votes. Again, she's running unopposed tonight, and she will finish the 2 years left on her father's term. Ms. Cox and Ms. Smith obviously running unopposed on the library board. And information, again, people that would be interested in the bonded roads millage fails, 1,558 to 1,507, 1,558 to 1,507, and the school's millage proposal for non-homestead passes easily, 2,063 to 992. Pat McCart is with us now and re-elected to the Garden City City Council. Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
World traveler, you were in Europe just a couple of days ago, right?
You know what? I was really fortunate to be able to explore France, and actually I had gone to Normandy Beach where they had the World War II invasion, and all I could think of was what a great country we have. All these men that our grandfathers and fathers that wow. So it was nice getting home. No place like home.
So not much controversy in this election, not a lot of noise. I mean, you've been here your whole life, haven't you?
Yes.
And you've been a Parks and Recreation Director. You've been dozens of things in this community. Yeah. Why do you think there was so little attention paid to this election?
I think for positive reasons, to be honest with you. I think one, the council, the existing council, even though they don't always agree on everything, they were respectfully disagreed. They brought out their, why they didn't like something or why they liked something, but there was not that, back and forth. Yeah, there just wasn't. And as far as, like with me, I mean, I put signs out, people knew I was voting, but the other issue is the number of voters. And as far as I was concerned, they knew me. Most of the people who vote know me, and I try to make sure that they knew what I agreed with or didn't agree with. And vote one way or the other. It doesn't, if you support what I'm doing, then vote for me. If not, don't. That's simple. But also, I think too is that the candidates themselves. I think that if any of the people who ran got elected, we would be fine, and that's kind of a nice feeling. But you never know who's going to be on that slate until after. You don't know until after the paperwork is brought in. So
sure.
Some of us, I think, it's like we run because we want to make sure we have people who we can feel is going to do a good job.
Sure.
You don't always know that. This time we looked and we saw the different people, and it was like, you know what? Anybody who ran would be able to do a good job.
So you have seen all of the phases of Garden City. You have seen Garden City in the 70s when we had federal revenue sharing, when we had state revenue sharing, so we had money to buy things like fire trucks and to make major improvements and use some of that for roads. You saw Garden City when we had a lot more money from the state for roads. And you've seen us through the 2008 time where the city was very hard up for cash and really having trouble, layoffs, all kinds of problems within the community. Things are stable now, at least residentially. And one thing that people don't necessarily always understand, when these homes are in foreclosure or when homes are vacant, the city's still receiving tax dollars.
Right.
The county makes that whole.
Right.
So, and even with the buildings downtown, it might be horrible optics, it might look terrible that Kroger has just closed today, that Kmart is gone, that Toast is closed, and on and on and on. But the city is still receiving their full tax dollars from that. Not that they wouldn't receive more if those were occupied and brought the property value up, but because of Proposal A and because of Headley, the property value, the taxes can only come up so fast anyways.
Right.
So even if we doubled our commercial base and doubled our taxable value, we could still only go up
a certain amount.
2 or 3%.
Right, and people don't understand that, period. And when people come up to me, and that's I hear that a lot, about the empty buildings and stuff, and I said, you have to realize that it's not just our community. Go down, some of them are, I'm getting more and more familiar with Farmington Hills, Novi area now, and I go by and I see strips of vacant land, vacant property, commercial property. It's not just Garden City. But that doesn't mean that we have to figure out what to do. And do I know what to do? No, I don't. But I think we need to get a group of people who are, how can we market, And I always had the feeling that, the city government and businesses, they work together, but they're two separate entities. Government can only do so much. So what do we do?
Right.
What do we do? But I think we need to brainstorm, figure out what we're going to do. So.
Well, and economic development is a struggle for all of the communities around here. The only ones that seem to be doing really well are Livonia, in Canton.
Yep.
And one of the things is that Metro Detroit is the same amount of people it was 20 years ago, but
Yes.
they're just spread out farther.
Right.
Now they go all the way to Brighton and Howell and all the way to, almost to Flint. So you
Right.
have the same amount of people spread and people going back into Detroit,
Right.
commercially and residentially. So you have the same amount of people that you're trying to spread over a larger pie.
And I went to get a pair of shoes at a local shoe store, and they had to order them. So I had to wait, I have to wait. People are going online.
It's Amazon. It's
they're-
online.
Yeah, they're going
to have
online.
the drone drop it at my house.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah, and so
exactly.
that's
So
an
things
issue.
have
So changes. Okay, how do we do that? I can remember when I was in high school, and that was a while ago. Keep it up. Anyway, and they said we were progressing into a service community,
Sure.
nation, and we are.
But we used to boast that we were a bedroom community in the 70s. Now that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
And we don't have industrial tax base. We don't have much commercial tax base. So it's really all on the residents.
And it is, but it's also on our government, and I've been very, very proud of Garden City, this long before I was on city council, that they did the hard stuff to make sure we stayed stable. And not every community did that.
That's right.
And so the people who live here in Garden City should be proud of that fact. Now it's time to move on. We're stable. What's the next step? How do we move the next step?
All right. Well, hopefully you'll find that out in the next 2 years.
Yeah.
Anybody you want to thank?
Oh, the people who took the time to come out and vote, who who trusted me to do this job again, and so I do really appreciate that. And I do, again, there's so many people in this community who work so hard for it. Whether you voted for me or not, I do appreciate that too.
All right.
So,
Well,
thank
Pat
you.
McCarge, good luck and congratulations on making it back to City Council, and good luck over the next 2 years.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to go upstairs to Susan McGraw. I believe she is with now Allison Bettis, our city clerk treasurer, who had a big day today.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dan. Allison Bettis is with me at this time, and your long day is wrapping up fairly soon at this point, yes?
Yeah, we'll take this. We always like a before 10 o'clock type out result.
All right. Well, we'll do the best we can here. Numbers came in what seemed to be maybe a little more slowly than we were anticipating, with such a sort of a basic kind of a race this time around, not a million things to vote on. But any comments on that?
No, we just, it's the same amount of work to do, whether it's a small election or a big election. So sometimes it's just the luck of the draw.
Yeah, that's good perspective, absolutely. What about total numbers of voters? Primaries are one thing, and we expect it's a low turnout, and I know your goal always is bigger numbers, bigger numbers. Seemed like we had a little bit of an influx this time.
It was a little bit of a jump. We had about a 16% turnout, which is a little bit better than in the local election in 2015. And so that's way lower than what I'm looking for, but I appreciate every voter who is repetitive, and they are diligent and loyal, and they know how important it is, and they come out every time. And so Those are the citizens that make our city.
We talk about absentee voters oftentimes sort of swinging or being a representation of the official election results. Was that the case this time around, would you say?
I haven't had a chance to analyze those too much, but usually that is the case, the way the absentee voters, because they represent all the precincts. So it makes sense that it's a good sample of what the people who come to the polls are going to do.
Okay. And I had a conversation with someone just a little while ago talking about how the absentee voter really isn't what the absentee voter of years ago was. It's not necessarily always the senior, the person that is homebound or whatever. Are you seeing, do you have that type of information to suggest who the new absentee voter of of our era is?
And you're right. Progressively through the years, it has gotten to be more and more voters because jobs are further away and family is further away, and so you don't always have time to come back into the city until the end of the day and get the results that you need. And for example, I'm here working elections, so I'm an absentee voter. So we're looking forward to that, and we continue to encourage the legislature to vote for no reason absentee, because we think if it's convenient for you to vote by absentee and you're comfortable doing that, then we would love for you to do it, and we always still want our voters at the polls.
Are we going to see a national holiday, everybody off work on Election Day in our lifetime, do you think, Allison?
I would never say die, so yes.
Good answer. I like that. That's excellent. Well, I'm going to steal one of Dan's questions now, that he allows every person that he interviews to say, who do you want to thank, kind of a thing. So who do you want to thank this time around?
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank my great staff who always chips in and makes sure that everything that I do is run well. And I want to thank the hundreds of election workers who, without this, who I could not get this done, and they make sure that our elections are fair, balanced, and smooth, and so I appreciate that very much, always.
Well, we appreciate your service, your time. And did those new machines do anything one way or another this time around? Did you notice?
They were pretty uneventful. We had one little paper jam, basically, and we were back and up and running in about 20 minutes, and so that was good. That's what they're supposed to do.
Well, thank you for your time. Always a pleasure to talk to you, and continued success.
You too. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. All right, Allison Bettis, City Clerk Treasurer, long day. Dan, let's throw it back to you. I know you've got more people to talk to.
All right, thanks very much, Susan McGraw. And with me is one of those people, Mike Jones, who got 902 votes today. You have seen it all, so nothing surprises you, right?
No, I wasn't surprised at all. As I told you before, one of the reasons I ran was I wasn't sure who else was going to run. And I wanted to make sure that we would have continuity and collegiality on the council. It's been functioning pretty well. I think with Brian's addition and Kelly's addition, it'll continue to function well. And so I'm not as disappointed about me not making it as I am that our road millage came so close, but didn't make it either.
Any thoughts as to what you think the city should do going forward on that subject?
Well, I think they've got to listen to the voters in the sense that the proposal we put out there was apparently not quite popular enough, but I think they have to come back with a plan B, a little smaller maybe, a little more specific, but we got to continue to try to address the roads. Obviously, like 49% of the people who voted thought we should do it.
Sure.
And they, even though they weren't a majority, their viewpoints and what they would like to see shouldn't be just dropped and not reconsidered.
Right.
So I think they have to do something in that area.
Yeah, obviously, just over 50 votes separated the yeses from the nos.
Right.
So obviously enough people in town, or at least half the people in town, thought it was a good idea.
Yes.
Anybody you want to thank?
Maybe I should thank all the people who didn't vote for me, so I can sit in the back row of the council meetings in jeans and a T-shirt,
and allow you to have more time to spend on Kiwanis and everything else. Huh?
Yeah. No, I appreciate the support I got from my 900 friends and family. I just wish I had a bigger family.
That's right. You going back to the ballpark next year?
Not determined yet.
Okay.
I don't know that I'll go back and, if they want me to go back and do what I did this last year, I won't go back and vend. I've essentially, year before this was the last year vending. It's just too physically.
Everybody watching you carry that hot dog thing on your head, that was fun to watch in the summer.
Yeah, except unless you were my supervisor who kept getting crap from the general manager, says, no, he shouldn't carry that on his head. It doesn't look good. No. I said, well, I'm willing to hold it so it won't fall. He says, no, I don't want it up on the head. And then I look at TV, and they got a game on Boston, and they're all got it up on their heads. Yeah.
Judging by what's going to take the field next year, you might be able to play second base.
Yeah.
All right, Mike Jones. Well, good to see you, and I know we'll see you someplace else real soon.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, Dan.
All right, Mike Jones, former member of the Garden City School Board and a candidate tonight for City Council. He did not make the cut, but let's take a quick look at the results as to who did make the cut. And as we knew, Randy Walker running unopposed with 2,306 votes. So he will return as mayor. So Randy will have his 5th term as mayor of the city of Garden City. For the mayor's race, our next guest down here, Mark Jacobs with 1,563 votes. J. Lee Lynch with 1,535, so they'll both receive 4-year terms. Brian Earl with 1,405, and Pat McCarge with 1,394, and not making the cut, Melissa DeMichael with 1,287. Pam King with 1,299, and Mike Jones, we just spoke to, with 992. And then quickly, Kelly Corwin again. She fared pretty well, finishing just below Randy Walker in total votes tonight, 2,261. She will finish the 2 years of her father's term. Our 2 library board members running unopposed, and our roads millage is a failure tonight, 1558 to 1507, and the school millage passes easily, 2063 to 992. So, Christian, tell me where we're going. All right, so in studio now is Mark Jacobs, Garden City's brand new Mayor Pro Tem. You've gone from a 2-year term to now the Mayor Pro Tem. That's 0 to 60 pretty fast.
It is pretty quick. It is pretty, and I appreciate the people, the citizens, putting their trust in me.
Thoughts about the roads millage not passing tonight?
Well, we knew it was going to be close. I knew it would be close. As I said before, we've never had a long-term plan for the roads. When the council met on this was what we thought was going to be a long-term solution to get everything up to grade and then maintain it going forward. So, 51 votes, people didn't want it. So we'll go back to the drawing board. The roads need to be addressed. So we'll just have to listen to some more people and see what kind of plans we can come up with.
Is that the #1 priority for council, do you think, going forward?
I think that's 1A, and 1B would be getting more businesses in here. I think those are the 2 biggest issues we have. And it's not like we're alone in that issue on the businesses. Unfortunately, it's a lot of it's the owners, and people don't really realize it. They think it's a city overcharging or doing things, and in a lot of cases, it's just the business owners not being willing to bend or to get customers in there.
And it's kind of a weird catch-22. I don't know if you were out there listening, but the city still collects the full tax value from these vacant buildings.
Correct.
So the optics are horrible, and nobody wants to live in a town without a grocery store or anything else to go to. But the city does not suffer tremendously from a government standpoint because the county makes us whole even if these businesses don't pay their taxes.
Right. Well, like Kmart's has a 2-year lease still with their landlord, so they're going to be still paying for 2 more years. So,
right. And Kroger owns the building that they just left.
Correct.
Yeah.
So again, it looks bad, but sometimes it's just with the owners, and I know there's some talk of other businesses and that are thinking about it or in negotiations with certain places, and hopefully we can do what we can to get them in here.
Right. It wouldn't take very long for it to turn around, really, if they could just get a little bit of momentum. Over 30 hockey is one of your passions, and really that's where you got a lot of support, wasn't it?
Probably. I mean, most of the Garden City over 30 is from Garden City or surrounding areas that know a lot of Garden City people. So between that and the, I think the GCYA, you know, I've worked closely with them, with the youth. Between the two of them, you know, the over 30 keeps me busy by playing still, you know, so they're a big help.
And you've been a big advocate of youth programs in general, but specifically the ice arena. And a lot's happened in the ice arena since you've been on council.
Right, and it's, you know, a little more is going to happen coming this summer. You know, it's kind of like the roads. It's been neglected for so long that when it finally comes due that we have to fix stuff, it costs more. And a lot of times people don't understand that, but unless we have a plan in place to maintain everything, then it's not going to work. Right. You know, it's just going to cost us more money to get it working properly.
All right. Anybody you want to thank?
Oh, I'd love to thank a lot of people, about 1,500. No, you know, the citizens, you know, they 2 years ago they supported me, and I'm judging by the turnout or the votes this year. I think, you know, I hope I earned some more of their trust, and going forward, I just want to keep some of our projects going, and you know, again, I appreciate all my friends, the signs, and support that encourage me to go on.
All right, well, I want to wish you the best of luck. And, you know, folks don't always get it. Mark's got to go to work right now. I mean, you know, he may be mayor pro tem, but the folks he works for, they don't care. And, you know, the city council will make, what do you make, $35 a meeting or something like that?
Something like that.
Something like that. So it's not exactly for the money.
Enough to pay for the charities that we donate to.
And that's about it. That's about it.
No, that's
so
okay.
Mark Jacobs, our new mayor pro tem, we congratulate him. And we go upstairs now to Susan McGraw, who I believe has J. Lee Lynch, who will set the record for the longest tenured person on Garden City's council as council or mayor with her latest term. Susie?
Absolutely. If you're going to do it, I say go for the record, right, Jaylee?
Go home.
And you've gone big, that's for sure. How are you feeling right now?
I'm just really excited that people still have their confidence in me. It's a good feeling knowing that I'm doing it what I believe for all the right reasons, and people think so too. So I'm really pleased tonight.
Well, that's exciting. We talked a little bit with some other candidates as well as just some people involved in the election that it was a little bit of a quieter election this time around. And one interpretation was maybe that means that people are pretty comfortable with the way things are going. How comfortable are you with the way things are going as a person having sat on the council seat for a very long time and the mayor's seat as well at one point? How are you feeling about the tone of what's going on in council?
I think the last 4 years have gone very smoothly. We've had just a little change on council over the last 4 years, but we're all seeing things in a similar light, and I think the city is really moving forward. It's hard to move forward in leaps and bounds like everybody would like, but I see progress. I can go back to Mayor Barker way back when, and I know what it was like. I know what we had to do when we had to cut back to save money and do what we needed. And it worked. And now we're moving forward and being able to make those purchases and hire those couple extra people. And we're moving forward on such a positive note. I think we're doing well. And I think that's why you didn't hear a lot from the public. Even on the road millage, it was so close when you really look at it. And it's because people see that, yes, it's needed, but some maybe just couldn't afford it, and that's why they voted no. Not that it wasn't needed, but that they couldn't afford it in the end. And that's okay. We'll figure out how to fix the roads. It's going to happen. It just might be a little slower, you know, this way, but I think people are fairly happy with what's going on.
We have a new council member this time around, so with Brian Earl joining the group officially as of Monday with the swearing in. Do you feel like there's any one big thing, one big challenge to tackle moving forward, or are we just going to try to keep doing more of the same in a positive way as we go?
I think it's more of the same in a positive way, other than the roads again, and we'll figure that one out. But I think that we're just on such a forward momentum. I think it's good, and I think Brian will learn. He'll sit back and pay attention for a while, and I think he'll fit right in with no problem.
Well, in 2 years from about right now, you're going to break the record for longest serving council member in the city of Garden City. And you're such a young woman. That's amazing. I mean, this could go on. This could go on forever. But that's got to be really just a wonderful feeling.
I love what I'm doing. I like serving the people of Garden City. It's my home. Moved into Garden City when I was 6 months old, and I'm still living in the same house. I believe in the city. I believe in what we're doing. And so if I can serve and help in any way, that's what I want to do.
You have a great support, I know, with family and friends, and as you indicated, people that have known you for years and continue with that vote of confidence as the numbers have shown. Who would you like to say a special thank you to as we wrap up this election?
Oh, definitely my husband. He puts up with a lot. When he comes home and there's not dinner waiting for him because I'm at the meeting or whatever, he's been my biggest support, so I have to thank him.
Well, great. Well, we know you've got a lot to do moving forward. We know you've got a lot to do both citywide and also in your other new role. You know, it's not 18 years yet, but those 18 years are going to fly by. Congratulations on new baby Oliver. I saw a picture. He's beautiful.
He is,
so,
if I do say so myself.
As you should. How's that changed your life, or how do you perceive that changing your life?
It just brings so much joy to see that little bundle. He's a doll. I can't wait as he gets older.
Absolutely. Well, we're excited for you and looking forward to continued good things happening moving forward with the community. We've got the holidays approaching, so there's a lot that's going to happen really quickly, we know. So I guess this is your little sort of weekend to take a deep breath and get ready to gear up and do it all again,
The
huh?
city's in good hands. It's still a great place to call home.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jay Lee, for your time. Sure appreciate it.
Thank you.
We've got more coming up. I know an interview with, I was going to say the big man, but you know what I mean, coming up in just a minute. I'm not talking about you, Dan. Not this
All right,
time.
Susie, thanks very much for everything upstairs today, and we'll see you down here in a minute.
Sounds good.
All right, Susan McGraw upstairs with Jay Lee Lynch, who receives a 4-year term on the City Council. And with us now is Mayor Randy Walker, who will now be serving his 5th term on the Garden City City Council. You get the first 4-year term of any mayor in the history of the city.
Yep, and I think it should be a 4-year term. I've said that a long time ago. I think 2 years is too short. And when you get a new mayor, he's just learning the job into the 2-year mark, and he's got to go out there and campaign. So I'm glad that from now on it will be 4 years.
And I think I'd said earlier that Randy was the first 5-term mayor. That's not correct, but you'll be the first mayor to surpass 10 years because your term will go into the 11th and 12th year.
Yes.
You started out as a city council person on the city council. After only 2 years, you jumped over and ran for mayor and won that, and you've been the mayor ever since. Talk about that.
Each term brings new challenges. In 2009 and 10, it was a recession all across America. We had to downsize the city. We went from a $21 million budget down to $16 million. 11 and 12, we started losing shared revenue from Lansing, state of Michigan, which affected us. 12 and 13, we started fighting blight really heavy in the city. The term of 14 and 15, we went into the foreclosed homes program. We refurbished 26 homes, increasing the property values in those neighborhoods, seeing new families moving in, and we successfully defended the legal challenges that program brought us, winning in all 4 courts. And so we will continue that program. It's a great program. Like I said, 26 homes have been refurbished. Going forward, 2017-18, street repairs and attracting new business to Garden City. Let's face it, Kmart and Kroger closing was a disappointing hit to Garden City residents. So we got to get aggressive to find a way to bring new businesses into Garden City. And that's what we're going to do going forward.
The roads millage fails today,
Garden City,
not by very many.
Right, right.
Your thoughts?
Well, Garden City residents informed us tonight that they don't want no new taxes to fix the roads. So we will, going forward, we'll double our efforts to come up with a new game plan that's more acceptable to the Garden City residents. This will not be an easy task, as Garden City staff and council sought other solutions before presenting this bond proposal. So,
well, but is it fair to say that they don't want any new taxes, or is it just not that particular plan.
Well, it was, what was it, 51 to 48%?
Right.
It's pretty close. I mean, you're almost 50-50.
So do you think a plan for a lesser amount of money would be
Yeah,
successful?
that one may pass. I know a lot of, one of the biggest complaints I get when I'm out in the city at grocery shopping or in restaurants is everybody attacks me on our roads. We got to fix our roads. So we came up with this bond proposal, and we thought we'd present it to let the residents decide instead of us jamming it down their throat. And they told us tonight, very close, 51%, that they don't want to increase the taxes to fix roads. So we'll go back to the drawing board, come up with something else, and see if it's more acceptable to the residents. But on the good side, we have the best employees in Garden City. Our city clerk staff, our DPS workers, our police, our fire. I'll give you some other good stories in my past terms. We've gone after and received millions of dollars in grants for Garden City, which included money to hire 6 firefighters. We bought a $300,000 fire truck with grant money. We rebuilt our aging sewer systems. We had medical insurance programs for our residents, and money's allowed us to continue offering services to our residents at the Maywood Community Center. We have hundreds of volunteers in this city, Dan, as you know, that coach various sports programs. We have service clubs, boards and commission members. I just want to thank the Garden City residents and business owners while I'm here, and my family, UAW, the Garden City Police, Garden City firefighters, DPS, for their continued support in me as their mayor. I find it humbling. I'm honored to be the mayor and serve as the mayor, and I will face these new challenges head on, and we will do what's best for Garden City going forward.
One of the big things that this community does every year is the Veterans Day ceremony. You have kind of taken it to the next level rather than a front lawn ceremony in the cold in front of 20 or 30 people. You've moved it over to the high school, turned it into a much bigger event. And this year, the Veterans Day event is not actually on Veterans Day.
Right.
Because it falls on the weekend, and in order to use O'Leary Auditorium, and also with the musical this weekend, you couldn't have O'Leary Auditorium until Monday, but
Right.
That'll be another big event coming up on the 13th.
Yeah, because we use the school facilities, you know, like you said, Veterans Day is always 11th month, 11th day at the 11th hour. But when it falls on the weekend, you're allowed to move it either to Friday or the Monday. With the school, like you said, having a play and the school closed on Saturday, we had to move it to Monday the 13th at 11 a.m. I encourage the Garden City residents to come out on Monday, November 13th, 11 a.m. at the O'Leary Auditorium, and let's support our veterans. They're the reason why we live in a free country.
So a lot of challenges in front of you, but again, I guess it's safe to call it a mandate from the people. You ran unopposed. This is going to be your 5th term as mayor of Garden City. You will tie Vince Fordell and Enos Schaller as the only 5-term mayors in the history of Garden City. And again, when you're done with this, you'll be the first mayor to ever have more than 10 years as mayor. So that's quite an impressive feat.
Yep, and it's very humbling, and I appreciate the Garden City residents for supporting me and showing their support and voting for me. It's quite an honor to serve. I've lived in Garden City my whole life. I love this city. I'm the hometown guy, and it's an honor to serve.
All right, well, we'll see you Monday at Veterans Day if we don't see you soon.
Absolutely, and don't forget our parade on November 25th.
There's a parade?
57th Annual Sandland Parade starts at the high school at 10 a.m. on Saturday, November 25th.
That's correct. You got it all.
You go home from that and you can watch the Michigan-Ohio State game.
Very good. Randy Walker, the re-elected mayor of Garden City, we thank him for being with us, and we thank all of our candidates who appeared on the program here this evening, and we're glad to see them all be here. Let's go through the results one final time on the evening. Not many big surprises here tonight. A couple of changes, but not a lot of surprises. Randy Walker, the gentleman leaving our studio now with 2,306 votes. For City Council, Mark Jacobs, he ends up with the Mayor Pro Tem's position. Mark with 1,563 votes. J. Lee Lynch also gets a 4-year seat, returning incumbent with 1,535. Brian Earl, the newcomer to the City Council, with 1,500. 405, and Pat McCarge returns to the City Council with 1394, so they'll join the mayor and Pat Squires, who finishes her 4-year term on the City Council. Pam King, the incumbent, the only incumbent to lose, with 1,299. Melissa DeMichael with 1287, and Mike Jones with 992. Again, our 2 library board candidates, along with Kelly Kerwin, running unopposed. Kelly Kerwin with 2,261 votes. She will finish her father's term, the 2 years remaining on it. Lynn Cox with 2083, and Janet Smith with 1968. And then again, the Rhodes millage fails tonight by only 51 votes, 1558 to 1507. And the Garden City renewal from the public schools wins 2,063 to 992. And in studio with me now is Susan McGraw. And Susie, again, we said not a lot of conversation about this election.
Right.
What was it like upstairs today?
I'll tell you, for being a low-key election, there was still an energy up there. I have to say, there was still a lot of excitement. I think people get hyped up at the last minute, which makes it exciting for those of us that are covering it. And I like always getting the tone of the election workers. They're always a blast. You know, they're happy, they're excited to get their checks, and they're like, yeah, this was a great, successful night. And I think
because they got paid.
Because they got paid.
Yeah,
well, yeah.
sure.
But part of this, they learned about the process and, you know, all that good stuff. But I think Allison kind of summed it up the best when she said there was a little bit of an increase in voter turnout, a little bit of an uptick, which is nice, and just hopefully we can keep that trend going moving forward.
All right, very good. Well, I want to thank you, as always, for being with us. You have been here for, I don't even know how long.
I don't
the
either.
80s, maybe,
Oh,
or
goodness.
not that early?
My hair was very different back then, but yeah. Oh,
Kind of that, yeah,
I
80s
had
hair
the big,
thing?
yeah.
Exactly.
Yours was a little different back then.
It was way different
Anyway,
then.
but it's great to be here.
But thank you very much. Congratulations
pleasure.
on everything going on in your life.
Thank you very much.
And we'll see
Very
you
excited.
at the parade.
Look forward to it.
All right,
Thank you.
Susan McGraw helping us with Election Night Live here tonight. That is going to wrap it up from here at Garden City High School. Again, I'm going to run through the crew list, even though we did it once before. Our producer-director tonight is Christian Gibbons. Our associate producers tonight, Jason Merrill and Zach King. Our stage manager, Kevin Kramus. Zach Witt running the robotic camera. Graphics tonight done by Noah Piggott. And our production assistant is Brendan George, along with Jeremy Jenkins, running sound here tonight. And there you see the guys in the other room doing a great job here tonight to bring you this live broadcast that we streamed live on Facebook. We provided it on our Ustream feed. And of course, you can watch everything that we do on GCTV, which is Channel 12 on Comcast, Channel 18 on WOW, and Channel 99 on Uverse. So some challenges for the community going forward. The bond does not pass for the Rhodes millage, so the city will have to go back to the drawing board and figure out what they want to do about that. But it's economic development that will drive the city over the next several years. And as the people of this community know, they are a great people who have done good things in this community. Our neighborhoods are solid, our neighborhoods are strong, and the people in this community, they are what make this a great community, and the cliche or the motto, a great place to call home. There is nothing wrong with that. It is a great place to call home, but obviously we need to improve the optics along Ford Road in Middlebelt and get some of those vacant buildings filled, and hopefully this council, along with the administration of Garden City, will be up to the challenge. So that's it. Thanks very much for watching. I'm Dan York for Susan McGraw. We'll see you at the parade, I guess. All right, that's Election Night Live for this year. Good night, everybody.